Hey, 7th grade! Sorry I'm not here with you on Thursday for our regular Zoom. I have a couple of appointments, and so I won't be here, but I'm going to do a quick video with you, go over some answers that we talked about yesterday, and give you your lecture for this next unit that we're going to be starting. And then I can't wait to see you guys on Friday. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing yesterday, let's see, one of the things I asked you to do before we got off was these 4 banners. So you had adding unlike fractions, subtracting unlike fractions, adding mixed numbers, and subtracting mixed numbers, okay? So if you have not answered these 8 problems on here, I want you to pause the video, okay, and go answer them. This is super important for you guys so you can understand, am I understanding all of this, or do I need to get some extra additional help? All right? So I went ahead and I solved these all for you already. So if you have not solved them, please pause the video. Please, 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 and come back and double check your answers, okay? So it's kind of hard here. I don't have a ton of room on my desk. So problem number 1 was the 2/9 plus the 3/5. Okay, common denominator here was 45. Answer should have been 37/45. Okay, problem 2. 1/8 plus 1/7. Common denominator here was 80. Okay, solve that down to get 66/80. Reduce to get 33/40. Subtracting 1/3 minus 3/4. Okay, get down here. Remember, this is the same as adding negative 9/12. So I get negative 5/12. And on the last one on that side, 5/12 minus 2/5. Common denominator was 60. Okay, 25/60 minus 24 of those 60ths leaves me with 1/60. Okay, hopefully you guys got all of those correct. All right, on the next part, I have negative 1 3/8 plus 2 1/2. Common denominator here is 8. If you converted these into improper fractions, that's totally fine. Okay, you have to get down to the same answer at the end. Okay, so if you didn't, double check where your error is. So here, I just kept it this way. I can see I have a negative here and a positive here. This has a greater absolute value, so it's going to be positive. Positive 1 and an 8. Okay, next one. Negative 1 1/10 plus 1 4/5. I got a common denominator of 10. Okay, I can see here, right? This one's larger. 1 8/10 is larger. So it's going to be positive. I'm just subtracting those two and going from there. Next problem, negative 1 1/2 minus 2 1/4. I just went ahead and got a common denominator. Negative 1 2/4 minus 2 1/4. Okay, remember this is the same as adding its opposite. So these are both negatives, so I'm really adding those together to get negative 3 3/4. And finally, negative 3 2/15 minus 1 2/3. Common denominator here was 15. Again, remember what this means, okay? However you want to think about it. If you want to think this is adding its opposite, so this is adding another negative. So I'm really adding those negatives together to get negative 4 12/15, which reduces to negative 4 4/5. Okay? Make sure you guys are really honest with yourself. If you need more help on those, pay attention to which ones it is that you're getting stuck on or struggling with so that you can come with questions ready on Friday. All right. Totally switching gears here into this next section of work. We're going to be looking at this multiplying fractions, mixed, and whole numbers. Okay, so if you don't have this paper out in front of you, go ahead and pause your video, get this paper out, and get ready to soar with me. All right. First it says, I can determine the product of fractions, mixed numbers, and whole numbers. Yes, I can. And I can convert between units. I can solve real-world math problems and fractions I can solve real-world math problems with fractions and mixed numbers. All right, so the very first thing they want you to do here is review your multiplication facts. Okay, we can do that. Super easy, right? You guys are all amazing at your multiplication facts, which is why you're doing so well and that you're in the group that you're in math. Woohoo, I told you those facts would come in handy. That's a thumbs up there. All right, so go ahead. I want you to take a second here, fill in those multiplication facts, cruise on your way. Remember, reviewing these integer rules. A positive times a positive is a positive. Negative times negative is positive. Positive times negative is negative. Negative times positive is negative. Opposite signs, negative. Same signs, positive. Okay, easy peasy. All right, on this part here, remember, when we are multiplying fractions, life is a lot easier. Okay, we have to be able to visualize and be able to see what it is that we're doing, but the math is easier, in my opinion. So we got 2/3 times 1/5. What I'm really saying is, what is 1/5 of 2/3? Okay, so in this case, rules, multiply these numerators, multiply these denominators. Can I reduce? No. It's as easy as that. Okay, so 1/5 of 2/3 is 2/15. All right, let's look at the next one. 3/8 times negative 4/9. Positive times negative is going to give me a negative. 3 times 4 is 12. 8 times 9 is 72. I can see right away that these are both divisible. They can both be reduced, I think, by 6, by 12. Let's try 12. So 12, we've got to keep this negative out here. Negative 12 divided by negative 12 is going to give me 1. And then 72 divided by 12 should give me 6. So I should have negative 1/6. Remember on this, okay, I could write this as negative 1/6. The negative could be out here in front. Okay, either of those is acceptable. If you have the negative on the bottom, that still means the same thing, but it's really not proper. We don't want to leave a negative down here on the bottom in the denominator. So out here in front or up here with the numerator. Okie dokie. All right, next problem is 7/10 times 4/5. And we're going to multiply the numerators to get 28, multiply the denominators to get 50. Okay, one thing I want you to look at right here, when we talked about this last year, this is a great one to do this on. Okay, we've looked at, we can cross cancel when we're multiplying fractions. Okay, so I'm looking, remember, at the 7 and the 5. Can I reduce 7 and 5 by anything? No. But I look at 4 and 10. Can I reduce those by anything? Sure, I could reduce them both by 2, right? So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now, when I multiply, I'm going to get 14/25. Okay, let me do it the other way so you can see without cross-canceling at that step. I'm going to get 28/50. I'm then going to divide both of those by 2, which would give me 14/25. So you're doing the exact same thing. Here, you're just doing it in the problem, okay, before you multiply. Here, you're reducing afterwards. Okay, in this problem, it's not that big a deal because these aren't really hard numbers to work with, but when we get into bigger numbers, cross-canceling can save your bacon. All right, negative 5/6 times negative 1/15. Ooh, negative times negative. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay, it's going to give me a positive. 5 times 1 is 5. And 6 times 15. 90. Okay. 5/90. I can see that those can be reduced, right? Because I could have reduced it right here between the 5 and the 15. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Divide both numerator and denominator by 5. Should be 18. 1/18. Okay, I only have 5 more minutes left in this video before it kicks me out. On the next ones, really quick, 7 times 2/9. When I have a whole number, I'm going to rewrite that whole number as a fraction. I'm going to put it over 1. Now the same rules apply. I get 14/9, which would reduce to 1 and 5/9. Yeah, that looks right. 1 and 5/9. Okay, so rewrite that as a fraction. Flipping over to the back side. Okay, so now this is what we've been talking about with our numbers. Okay, so I've got -3 and 1/5 times 3 and 3/4. Okay, this is where you really are going to want to start converting into those improper fractions. Otherwise, it gets a little complicated because you've got to take -3 times 3, -3 times 3/4, and then 3/4, it's all, there's a lot of different things going on. So it's a lot easier if we just do this nice little step right here, 12 15/4. Okay, I look, can I cross cancel? Heck yeah, I can do a lot of cross canceling here. So I'm going to look at the 5 and the 15. Those are both divisible by 5. Okay, the 4 and the 16, those are both divisible by 4. Okay, only thing I say is be careful, don't lose these negative signs, right? So 4 times 3 is 12, 1 times 1 is 1, so it's going to end up being -12. Okay, I hope this step makes sense. If this doesn't make sense, make sure you come and ask questions on Friday when I see you. Okay? Skipping to the next section, okay, converting. When you have this part right here, they give you all the conversions that you need. Common conversions. Well, I hope they give you all the ones you need, but there's some common ones. Hopefully we know those, right? So if you have convert 8 feet to inches, remember how I always do my conversions. I start with what I know. I know there is 1 foot in 12 inches, and I am asked how many inches is 8 feet. Okay, I look at the relationship. This is what we talked about last year when we started into that proportions. Okay, so I'm looking at this from here to here. I multiplied by 8, right? So here, to keep it in proportion, I need to multiply by 8. So x equals 96 inches. There's 96 inches and 8 feet, and you can make a chart and prove it, and you know it. Okay, next one, 64 ounces to pounds. What do I know? I know there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. I want 64 ounces is how many pounds? We're going to let x equal the number of pounds. Okay, starting to use our variables. Jumping into algebra, woohoo! All right, so I'm going to look at these. How many times bigger is 64 than 16? 4. So we're going to multiply by 4. Okay, so I know that 64 ounces is the same as 4 pounds. Okay, pretty easy with the converting. Go ahead and try those other two on your own. I gotta pause. Pause the video. Okay, for homework, I want you not to worry about the rest of the guided notes page. I want you to get your cheat sheets. I think there's 8 of them. There's a lot, okay? I want you to do for homework all of the problems. It's 16 problems. That's it. 2 per page. I want those done and in your notebooks when you come on Friday, okay? Email me if you have any questions. You guys are doing awesome. Keep rocking it. See you Friday. Bye.